after Carson Palmer made it clear that he did not want to play for the Bengals. Tennessee has won the toss, and they will receive. This is Mike Nugent getting set to kick it away to Mark Mariani, averaging just under 25 per return. Nugent putting it into the end zone, and he'll bring it out to the 20. So here comes Matt Hasselbeck, three-time Pro Bowl quarterback with Seattle, 13th season out of Boston College.
Yeah, Marvin, he's played really well, especially when you consider what's been going on with the running game and the fact that he lost his best receiver, Kenny Britt, early in the year. He's really bought into Chris Palmer's offense, and he's played well within the system.
Chris Johnson, Ahmad Hall in the backfield. Play action. Hasselbeck taking a long look, could not find anyone, and then slides for a short pickup. Here's how the Titans look. Offensively, up front, left guard Leroy Harris with a strong game last week and, in fact, received the game ball. As for the backs and receivers, is this the day that Chris Johnson finally breaks out? As you mentioned, Rich, averaging less than 3 yards a carry. He has looked indecisive, reporting late after the holdout. Johnson has been hearing the boos here in Nashville. Cincinnati defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer has his defensive unit playing well. Demoka Peko with 7 tackles last week in Seattle. At linebacker, Dan Scooter once again starts for the injured Ray Awaluga. As for the secondary, last week the free safety Reggie Nelson returned an interception, 75 yards, going the distance for a touchdown. Bengals have the 4th best overall defense in the NFL coming into today, and that is incomplete. So it's 3 and out.
Well, it was a scary throw, Marv. I mean, he just literally just throws it to an opening. He's trying to fit that one into his tight end, Jared Cook, but that was a
Tate. Brandon Tate last week had that 56-yard punt return for a touchdown against the Seahawks. And Tate is taken down just short of the 43-yard punt. And a short return, and here comes Andy Dalton out of Texas Christian, a 3-year starter at TCU. Last year as a senior led them to that undefeated season, a number 2 ranking. And Rich, a guy with so much poise when you consider it's his first year in the league.
Yeah, he's not playing like a rookie, Marvin. You're right. I mean, he's been even-keeled. He always seems in control of his emotions, and that's impressive. Particularly last week. They go out to play in Seattle. It was crazy out there, and he's really played well on the road.
Bengals start out from their 38 as Dalton makes changes at the line. Cedric Benson making his return here today, gets the call. Bengals have that huge offensive line. At left tackle, the 6'7" Andrew Whitworth, who last season was named the Bengals' most valuable player. There's Cedric Benson back in the lineup following that. Benson running for the first down. Jordan Babineau able to get him out of bounds. A look at the Titans defensively up front. Derek Morgan making his second NFL start. First-round draft pick last year out of Georgia Tech. The linebackers, Barrett Ruud, strong game last week in the win over the Colts. And in the secondary, Jason McCourty continues to make strides. Last week recovered a block punt in the end zone for a touchdown. First down at midfield for Cincinnati. Benson trying to follow the blocker, but he's turned back. Jarrell Casey on the stop, no gain on the play.
Well, Marv, we've been talking a lot about Andy Dalton and how well he has played so far this season, and I just, sitting down with him last night, you just see a quarterback that's very comfortable in his own skin, and he's just not making the mistakes. He's not turning the ball over. He's been very good in situational football, third down, the red zone, late in games. Very, very impressive.
And very successful with fellow rookie. The wide receiver, A.J. Green, is off to the right. And Dalton wisely threw it away. Saw that Jerome Simpson was covered.
Yeah, and Carl Klug put a lot of the pressure on him. And you watch this Tennessee defensive line. They do a good job getting pressure on the passer. They have a lot of stunts and games and twists inside and make it very difficult for the offensive line.
Dalton running over to the sideline to talk to the head coach, Marvin Lewis. Andy Dalton named the NFL's Offensive Rookie of the Month for October. Looking at a third and 10. Takes a timeout. Bengals using an early timeout. We're just underway in Nashville, Tennessee. Head coach of the Bengals, Marvin Lewis, Coach of the Year 2009 when the Bengals won the AFC North. Different story last season. In fact, at this time a year ago, Cincinnati 2-5 in the throes of what would be a 10-game losing streak. Third down and 10. And again, Dalton tried to throw it away, was nearly picked off.
Well, pressure now. We've seen it a couple times from Andy Dalton's right side. You can see they're struggling right there. Andre Smith struggling a little bit to block the edge. Andy Dalton just tries to throw that away. Very fortunate in that situation. Barrett Ruud not able to haul that one in.
Looked like a shot putter as he was aiming for the sideline. Mark Mariani back for the punt, and it's a good one. Lets it fly over his head. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. A 51-yard punt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Sprint. All football, no limits. Only from Sprint. And by the 2011 Ford F-150. Built Ford Tough.
Back in Nashville, a look at the Cincinnati front four. That is a huge defensive line. Talking about that last night with Matt Hasselbeck, he said it looks like a group of NBA players looking for work during the lockout. Javon Ringer, who just came on, the ball carrier, picked up a yard. Up front for the Bengals, Rich, 6'7", 6'3", 6'6", 6'4".
Sounds like a basketball team, doesn't it?
That's what I said.
Did you just say that?
I just said that.
I should be listening, I suppose.
I'm on echo.
But, that's a big problem. And we talked to Matt Hasselbeck about that and the fact how that impacts the quick game. Because these guys do a great job deflecting balls at the line of scrimmage.
Johnson finds the hole. Chris Johnson. First down and more. Runs it out at the 41. Goes for 20.
Boy, does a great job. He's just going to go for the cutback. And look at the hole that starts on the backside with the two tight ends blocking. You'll see Daniel Graham and Craig Stevens. And this is what we haven't seen, Marv, from Chris Johnson, his ability to kick out of tackles and get up on the second level.
As we touched on earlier, he's been a major disappointment following the contract holdout, averaging just 2.8 yards per carry. Hasselbeck to throw. And over the head of the wide receiver, Nate Washington.
Well, And asking what's wrong with Chris Johnson. I felt so bad on Friday. We've talked to everyone in the Titans organization. It seems like we talked to Chris Palmer, the offensive coordinator, talked to the head coach, Mike Munchak, talked to the quarterback. No one seems to know what the issue is with them. But I will say this, I think in the beginning part of the season, Marv, I think conditioning was a factor. He looks good. He's practicing better. He needs to have a big day.
Play action. Ahmad Hall able to hurdle at the 45. Brought down by Nate Clemens. That's a 9-yard pickup for Hall.
Well, the Titans have really struggled on 1st and 10 because they've not been able to run the ball, and that's why we're seeing them throw the ball more on 1st down, 2nd and 10, early downs. Kind of soften up this front 7.
They go with a combination of Johnson and Hall in the offset eye. On the rollout, Johnson again with a long gainer. Gets inside the 30, goes for 20 more.
Well, different ways to get Chris Johnson the ball in space. We can hand it to him, we can toss it to him, and of course we can throw it to him. And this is what they've got to do because he can be so effective and he can use his speed. This is what he wants to do that he's not been able to do in the running game.
As offensive coordinator Chris Palmer told us, hey, remember Chris Johnson went to East Carolina as a wide receiver and then was switched over to running back. And when they go with him and Ringer, they'll look to swing it out. Little dump off this time. Johnson on the run and looking sharp here at the start. There's a flag thrown. 2 flags down in the backfield.
And then you're going to get Leroy Harris for a hold.
Johnson picked up 8 on the play, but they will bring it back.
Personal foul. Clipping. Number 64 of the offense. It's a 15-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
And as you mentioned, it is the left guard, Leroy Harris.
Well, he's right here. Just keep an eye on him. He's trying to get the cutoff on the nose tackle, Sims, and right here, he just goes down and rolls up on his back of his leg, and you can't do that. It's a tough cutoff block for the left guard on that nose tackle.
It is set back to a 1st and 25 at the Cincinnati 44. Out of the gun. Quick pitch by Hasselbeck. Mark Mariani with only his 5th catch of the season, an advance of 6.
Yeah, you know, you watch tape on these two teams, these defenses. Both secondaries do a really nice job tackling. Leon Hall is excellent, and you look at the Tennessee Titans, 4 of their top 5 tacklers come from that secondary.
Defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer, who has done a terrific job. You see the Bengals defensive stats.
Well, they're a well-coached unit, and I think he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the business.
Chris Johnson is now wide to the left. Hasselbeck looks the other way and is incomplete. Brings up a 3rd and 19. That was intended for Damian Williams.
Well, the Titans, you know, you look at them over the first 7-8 weeks of the season, they've not gotten off to good starts early in games. They've scored just 1 touchdown in the 1st quarter, and through 7 games, just 13 points. That's something that Mike Munchak has talked to this group about. Talk about practicing, having a good crisp practice on Friday, scripting the first 15-20 plays, scripting for success.
I love the way you analyze the practice, the Friday practice that we attend. Over the middle, completed to Nate Washington. Short of the 1st down, gets inside the 25-yard line.
Yeah, that clip on Leroy Harris is what really hurt him there. But a good play, you get yourself down in field goal range. And while we're talking about Friday practices, I think they're so important. You practice well on Friday, you play well on Sunday. And you know, Nate Washington has really picked up the pace with the absence of Kenny Britt. He's become Matt Hasselbeck's go-to guy.
I want to get back to your practice theory, but first a look at Rob Baronis as he attempts a 43-yarder. The angle is to the right. And it is good. More on Rich's practice theories When we come back, Titans with a 3-0 lead on the Bengals. The last time the Cincinnati Bengals won 5 games in a row, that's what they're gunning for here this afternoon, in the same season was back in 1988 behind head coach Sam Weish and a fellow by the name of Boomer Esiason. Bengals won their first 6 games of the season. They finished at 12-4, made it to the Super Bowl, but thanks to the work of Joe Montana and the 49ers, they lost to San Francisco in that Super Bowl.
And I'll bet you didn't realize that Boomer spent most of Monday and Tuesday in an editing room putting that video together. Back in New York.
Now, if he had put it together, we would not have seen Sam Weish. It would have been, and I know Boomer is watching this very carefully. We're going to hear from him later. It would have been all Boomer. Who had a terrific season.
Well, he had a great career, obviously, and certainly some fun years in Cincinnati.
Fun years?
Yeah, I think he had some fun years. You know, they went to the Super Bowl and a lot of playoff games. And you know, this young quarterback they have now, he's not a lefty, just Andy Dalton, but I think he's fun to watch. I think he's going to be a special player as well.
Rob Baronis getting set to kick it away to Brandon Tate, 3-year man out of North Carolina, who's named the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week off his work a week ago. And Tate will run it out. Taken down at the 13-yard line. Patrick Bailey making the stop. 14-yard return for Tate. 3-0 lead for Tennessee.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Applebee's. Veterans and active duty military eat free on Veterans Day, only at Applebee's. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Marv Albert, Rich Gannon, we are in Nashville, Tennessee. We're past halfway of the first quarter. Titans have a 3-0 lead on the Bengals. Cincinnati from their 13-yard line. Dalton able to fire it out to A.J. Green. And he brings to the 22, stopped by Jason McCourty. Picked up 9 on the play. Now, Andy Dalton, when he came out of Texas Christian, Rich, there are questions about his arm strength. Is that why he dropped to a second round of the draft? You see all the quarterbacks who were taken before Andy Dalton.
Well, you know, it's not an exact science. As I studied this kid coming out of TCU, I thought he had plenty enough arm strength to play in this, at this level.
Benson picking up the first down as he goes for 4.
And, you know, Marv, it's so much more than that as you analyze a quarterback and you study him. And you're talking to Jay Gruden last night, the offensive coordinator. He said he had everything we were looking for. I mean, he makes quick decisions. He had good balance, the accuracy, the poise in the pocket, a high winning percentage at TCU. Won 42 games as a 4-year starter there, including the Rose Bowl against Wisconsin a year ago.
1st and 10 at the 25. Completes this time to the tight end, Colin Koshart. Jermaine Gresham sitting it out once again with an injured hamstring, so they're going with a combination of Koshart and Donald Lee, who had a big game last week.
And what I like about Andy Dalton is if it's not there down the field, he's willing to work back underneath to his tight end Koshart or the backs. And Marv, you know I use this expression a lot. You never go broke taking a profit, particularly on the early downs.
That's another one I'm just making a note on here. You are filling up my notebook. 2nd down and 4 at the 31.
Five-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Referee Jeff Triplett with the call on the left guard, Nate Livings.
Yeah, you know, what was so impressive, I was mentioning Seattle last week. Cincinnati goes out to Seattle. In the first quarter of that game, there's a lot of penalties. There's some false starts. We've got some holding penalties by Andre Smith, and they really struggled. And yet, Andy Dalton, it never seemed to bother him. They talk about the 12th man out there, talk about the crowd noise here at LP Stadium. This guy is a cool cucumber.
2nd and 9 from the 26. Benson finding running room. Has a 1st down. Cedric Benson making his return this afternoon was taken down by Alteron Werner, but he picked up 11.
Well, they love to run behind the left side of this offensive line, and why not? You got Andre Whitworth and Nate Livings, and of course doing a good job, Donald Lee. But Ced Benson, the thing I like about him, he's very quick to the hole. He's a one-cut downhill runner.
5 carries, 26 yards for Benson. First down at the Cincinnati 38. Coming up on 4 minutes left here in the first. Again, it is Benson on the edge, looking very sharp here at the start. Werner makes the stop. Picked up 9 more. Well, you can get scores and manage CBS Sports fantasy football teams on your mobile phone. To get the free app, simply call *CBS or go to cbssports.com/mobile. Cedric Benson in his 4th season with the Bengals after 3 years with the Chicago Bears, originally the 4th overall pick in the draft in 2005. And this time he's cut down behind the line by the corner, Cortland Finnegan.
And he is so quick, Cortland Finnegan. When he lines up in the slot, he does a nice job recognizing and anticipating run. You're going to see him. He just beats the receiver right across his face. Andre Caldwell's got no chance. And, of course, Ced Benson just trying to make a miss.
Benson is back after that 1-game suspension for violating the NFL's conduct policy. Back on the 53-man roster. It served a 5-day jail sentence before the season started due to a misdemeanor assault case in Texas. Also sidelined by a neck injury. That pass through the hands of Jerome Simpson. So the punting team comes on for Cincinnati.
Well, you can't miss these throws. This is good protection. He's got a little crossing route, and he gets the matchup he wants. Simpson on the linebacker. You've got to make that throw and catch.
Second punt. 30-yard line. Mark Mariani awaits at the 12. Kevin Huber, who played his college ball from the University of Cincinnati, born and raised in Cincinnati. Nice punt, allowing no return, but it bounces just across the goal line. 57-yard punt for Huber. It is a gorgeous 64-degree day here in Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. Aerial coverage of today's game being provided by MetLife. Titans go with the combination of Chris Johnson and Javon Ringer. Mike Munchak saying we may see quite a bit of that, although it's a single back. Johnson in motion, and the handoff to Ringer. Had a good one last week. Gang tackle, picked up 3 on the play. Dan Skuta, middle linebacker, makes the stop. Getting back to your comments about you felt it was an excellent practice by the Titans on Friday. From your playing days, wouldn't you ever have a situation where there'd be a terrific practice on Friday and then things turn out differently on Sunday?
Right. You're right. It's never an exact science, but when it's sharp, it's crisp, guys are flying around, not making mistakes, you feel so much better about the plan going into Sunday.
Johnson out to the 25. Of course, you could have the reverse, bad practice, good game on Sunday. That happens.
Well, you could, and I think it's so important. You look at Chris Johnson and getting him off to a good start, and that's important. And I think so far today it's been good. And a guy that has struggled a little bit with his confidence, he hasn't had the big runs. This is what you've got to do. You got to get this guy started, and then good things can happen. They've been saying for weeks, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Well, hopefully today's the day if you're a Titans fan.
3 carries, 25 yards for Johnson. Hasselbeck's pass is knocked down. We talked earlier about that enormous front line on the part of the Bengals.
Well, that time they didn't even block the linebacker. The linebacker just comes free, and Matt trying to work down the middle of the field. You're going to see right up in the middle of your screen there, you get a good shot of Brandon Johnson, and he's not even blocked. That's a very difficult throw for Matt Hasselbeck.
So the punter, Brett Kern, comes on. See, we had I thought, a lethargic production meeting last night, but I don't want that to affect.
But see, that's not affecting your broadcast so far.
To this point. Give it time.
Lethargic.
Oh, high slap handled by Kern. There's Tate coming up for it. And hit immediately back behind the 30. 43-yard punt. Jordan Babineau quick downfield to get to Tate. A reminder, tomorrow on CBS, Hawaii 5-0 starts with a plane crash and ends with a surprise twist. Don't miss a new Hawaii 5-0. That's tomorrow, only CBS. Bengals start out at their 32, and they go now with Bernard Scott at running back. And he has run the ball very well. But Dalton looking to pass, being chased, down he goes. The sack by Sean Smith. Smith, the defensive tackle in his 8th year out of South Carolina, comes up with the first sack of the day, and it's a loss of 7.
Well, you're going to get a look at Sean Smith. He's done a really nice job. Gets good pressure, does a nice job coming off the edge, and got nowhere to throw the ball down the field. They lose A.J. Green down the sidelines.
Now Green is flanked to the left side, near side of the screen. A bullet thrown by Dalton. A beautiful pass caught by Simpson, and he gets to the marker. Picked up 18, tackled by Jason McCourty.
Well, he does a really nice job fitting this one in between the linebacker and the corner. Really nice throw, and even the safety. That's why he purposely throws that one on the back shoulder to hold up Jerome Simpson in the hole.
Jerome Simpson, who showed some promise last year, 20 receptions and all 3 touchdowns, although those numbers were certainly helped by the 12 catches that he made in the season finale against the Ravens. That's the end of the first quarter. Titans 3, Bengals nothing. Back to Nashville after these words. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Second quarter getting underway. Cincinnati in possession. 1st and 10 at their 43. Titans have a 3-0 lead on the Bengals. The handoff to Bernard Scott. Quick tackles and picks up the first down. Last week in Seattle, playing for Cedric Benson, Scott ran for 76 yards, career high 22 carries. Late flag is down.
Well, they're alternating the backs by series, Marv. We saw Ced Benson start out and Bernard Scott come in.
Holding, number 89 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
So that will nullify the run by Scott. It is called on the wideout, Jerome Simpson.
Yeah, you hate to start that way. You know, we talk about a team that's committed to running the football on first down. No one does it more, no one does it better than the Cincinnati Bengals. They have the highest percentage of runs on 1st and 10 with almost 60%.
1st and 20 from the 37. Scott gets the call again. Stopped by Alteron Werner, picked up 7 on the play. This is a Cincinnati team that opened the season at 1-2. Since then, they've won 4 in a row, their longest win streak, as we mentioned earlier, since back in 1988.
You get a look at Ced Benson there, and I think they love Ced Benson on the inside runs. He's more of a power back, but they're really intrigued by Bernard Scott. They feel he's the guy that can break the big one right now in this offense.
Dalton completes. The tight end Lee breaks a tackle. Nice moves by the 9-year pro out of Mississippi State, Donald Lee. Finally, the free safety Michael Griffin was able to get to him. That's a pickup of 22.
Well, a little tight end screen. We see screens to the backs and receivers. Now they come back right to Donald Lee, and he does a nice job tucking in behind this big offensive line and just following his blockers. He's going to get a nice block here right at the end by Bernard Scott. It's a big first down.
First down at the 34 in Tennessee territory. Here is Scott trying to follow the blocker. Cortland Finnegan on the stop, just 2 on that play by Bernard Scott. Been talking about the possibility of 5 straight wins for Cincinnati, and a lot has changed since 1988 at the time. President Ronald Reagan, the best picture was Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman. You see the price of gas, 25 cents for a postage stamp. Rich Gannon in his second year with the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings at the time thinking maybe we should change him into a defensive back. But is that pass intended for Simpson?
Well, this is a good decision by Andy Dalton, and these are the things that really, when you start grading the film, you give them a plus on that decision. You know, they got a blitz on, and it's not picked up, and rather than take a sack or make a poor decision, he simply throws the ball away. And that's a sign of a smart player, and Jay Gruden, I think, has done an excellent job protecting the rookie quarterback with the play calls.
Third down and 8. At the 32, Brian Leonard now in the backfield for the first time for the Bengals. 5-year man out of Rutgers. Dalton able to step up and completes. What a pass. Donald Lee with the catch. 25 yards on that play.
Well, you look at the focus from a young quarterback. He's got his eyes. He knows exactly where he wants to go with the ball. To the tight end, down the middle of the field against 2 deep coverage. But what a perfect throw. Look, great location. He knows he's got to fit that one in between the linebacker and the nickelback, Werner.
First and goal at the 8-yard line. Green is flanked to the left. Dalton looking that way, now throws. Cincinnati feeling that they have the touchdown. No indication. The catch made by A.J. Green just short of the goal line.
Well, you watch A.J. Green. He's got some real suddenness to him, Marvin. I think he's just going to be just short. But he's got such a quick first step. He does a great job creating separation between he and the defender.
A.J. Green leading all rookies in terms of receptions and touchdowns. This is Benson. Good job by the Titans, led by Barrett Rue, the middle linebacker, to stop Cedric Benson.
Well, he got a good job and good penetration, and that's really what gets it started. You get Derek Morgan there. He's the linebacker scraping, and a nice job finishing, keeping Ced Benson out of the end zone.
It is 3rd and inches. Bengals looking to take the lead. They have Benson in the backfield. Play fake. Dalton fires. Touchdown. Colin Koshart, the tight end, on the 1-yard pass. Cincinnati with a 6-3 lead.
And Marv, this is a great example of what we were talking about with Andy Dalton, just the poise. You know, it's not there. They don't fool him. So then he comes out to his right. It's not there. Now he's going to start to run. Now all of a sudden he sees Barrett Rude. He's going to come right off. He sees that. The next best thing, he knows he still has his tight end with the perfect throw and catch. Just good poise by the young quarterback.
Koshart with his first touchdown of the season. Mike Nugent for the extra point. Bengals take a 7-3 lead early second quarter here in Nashville, Tennessee. That's a happy rookie out of South Dakota State, Colin Koshart, coming up with his first 2 catches of his NFL career, and obviously his first touchdown. Signed as a rookie free agent. This is only his 4th game of the season. He has been inactive on several occasions. In the lineup as Jermaine Gresham sits out again with that injured hamstring. So the combination of Koshard and Lee have done the job here in this first half. The return by Mark Mariani. Makes his move across the 20-yard line. Reggie Nelson on the stop. 27-yard kickoff return for Mariani.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Macy's, E-Trade, Investing Unleashed, and by the all-new Volkswagen Passat. That's Das Auto.
Cincinnati Bengals with a 7-3 lead on the Tennessee Titans. 4.5 gone by in the second quarter. The pitch. Chris Johnson tried to make the turn and could not. He was cut off by the weak side linebacker Thomas Howard. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report.
Have you noticed, Marv, a lot of the runs have been outside on the perimeter. They're trying to keep Chris Johnson away from those internal runs. I think he's more comfortable out on the edge.
This is Johnson. Now looks to make the turn. Another beautiful run by Johnson in what could be a breakout game, and actually it already is here in the first half. Good block by Nate Washington, and Johnson runs for 18.
And I think as a professional athlete, you get tired of all the naysayers and all the criticism, and you want to show people that you can still do it. And this is what we haven't seen: the quick cuts, the burst, and the speed. This is good to see if you're one of those offensive linemen, because all you've been doing is answering questions about what's the problem. They've got to sustain blocks more and give him some opportunities.
Tennessee on first down for their 43-yard line. Pass intended for the tight end Jared Cook, and a flag down. He was covered by Thomas Howard.
Do a nice job getting the matchup they want. Jared Cook on the tight end, Thomas Howard.
Pass interference, defense, number 53. Not playing the ball. Automatic first down.
And you see, he never finds the ball. What happens? He begins to panic because he's got his back to the football, and he's just going to push Jared Cook right there and not give him an opportunity to make the catch.
So they pick up 15 on the penalty, first and 10 at the 42. Hasselbeck with a nice throw. Another first down for the Titans. Craig Stevens making his return this afternoon. Sat out last week with the injured ribs. Stevens goes for 25.
Isn't it amazing when you run the ball well on the early downs, then it opens up so many big plays in the passing game. Those linebackers, they see that run action, they step up, and they never feel Craig Stevens down the middle of the field.
Titans have a first down at the Bengal 18-yard line. Cincinnati with a 7-3 lead. 6 minutes into the second quarter. The pitch. Javon Ringer. Titans doing it with a combination of Johnson and Ringer. Thomas Howard making the stop. Getting back to the subject of Chris Johnson, talking about it with Matt Hasselbeck. He compares Johnson's problems to those of Sean Alexander when Matt was in Seattle. Alexander having difficulties after a contract year. Hasselbeck said, we just couldn't fix it. And then we did. We went to short pass plays just to get the ball in his hands. Now the ball in the hands of Ringer. Picked up 5 on that run. Hasselbeck saying we did it with swing passes, short throws into the flat, similar to what they try to do here this afternoon to get Johnson involved, and they certainly succeeded.
Yeah, I think more of the onus falls on the offensive coordinator, Chris Palmer. You got to find some creative ways to get Chris Johnson the ball. You know, it's not necessarily just handing it to him. The screen game, putting him out wide. We saw a quick throw to him, and they haven't gotten down this part of the field a lot this season, but when they've gotten down there, they've been very effective.
3rd down and 3 at the 10. Johnson straight ahead this time. Nothing there. No gain on the play. Stopped by Brandon Johnson.
Well, Fanene and Geno Atkins do a good job stuffing and give the linebacker Johnson a chance to step up in there. And now they're going to go for it on 4th down.
Passing on the field goal. 4th down and 2 at the 10.
Now this is a long 2, Marv. This is a fairly aggressive call in this situation.
Hasselbeck in the shotgun formation. They pick up the 1st down. Lavelle Hawkins on a 5-yard advance off the throw from Hasselbeck. Stopped by Kelly Jennings, the right corner. It's a 1st and goal at the 5.
Well, they do a really nice job. Hawkins is just going to work right underneath the tight end and sit down in that hole. And Mark, we talked about the production they've had down here. Matt Hasselbeck has been outstanding, red hot in the red zone with the highest quarterback rating in this part of the field.
Chris Johnson, nowhere to go. Let's see where his forward progress was stopped. Manny Lawson leading that attack, making the tackle on Johnson.
Really a great effort by Lawson. You're going to see him right here. He's just going to come right downhill, and he does a really nice job. He's going to get hit right in the hole by the fullback, Ahmad Hall, and he still finds a way to come off and make this tackle. And this is what you got to do. You got to get a lot of orange hats to the ball when you play against a back like Chris Johnson.
A loss of 3. 2nd and goal at the 8. Hasselbeck to the end zone. Is he in? Yes, touchdown. What a catch by Damian Williams in the back of the end zone. And the Titans have taken the lead.
This is an incredible throw and catch. It's about the only place they could fit it in. But look at the concentration by Damian Williams, not only to make the catch, but to get both feet in bounds. I mean, Matt Hasselbeck throws this ball before he even crosses the face of the safety, Chris Crocker. That's a very good throw by Matt Hasselbeck.
3rd touchdown of the season for Damian Williams. 2nd-year man from the University of Southern Cal. And now here's Baronis for the extra point. Well, Mike Munchak gambling on a 4th and 3 succeeded, and it leads to this. Titans 10, Bengals 7. Damian Williams starting for the injured Kenny Britt, coming up with that beautiful catch in the back of the end zone just a moment ago. Titans with a 10-7 lead. Baronis will kick it off to Brandon Tate. Tate, the one-time Patriot, coming off a superb game a week ago. This time he'll stay right there. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Look at the footwork on that touchdown catch by Damian Williams.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. Switch now and get a whole home DVR upgrade for free. And by Red Lobster. It's endless shrimp at Red Lobster. Enjoy endless combinations of shrimp entrees for only $15.99.
Well, this month of November is NFL Military Appreciation Month, and if you are a military veteran or an active serviceman or woman, you can learn more at NFL.com/salute. Bengals start out at their 20-yard line. Titans with a 10-7 lead as we come up on 5 minutes to play. in this first half. Play fake by Dalton. Completes to the fullback, Chris Presley on the right flank. That's a 9-yard advance. Jason McCourty on the stop of Presley.
Yeah, they're trying to take a big shot down the field, and it's not there. They find that fullback, and they get right into their no-huddle offense.
And a flag is down. Benson going for the first down and picked up more than enough.
Well, Jerome Simpson wasn't set. There's been a couple penalties now by Jerome Simpson. As I studied the tape, this guy's making too many pre-snap mental errors.
Motion. Illegal shift. Offense. 2 men moving and not resetting before the snap. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
And you can see the frustration from Marvin Lewis. And the penalties have been a bit of a problem so far for the Bengals offense. You got to get that cleaned up. It's so hard to win on the road. You make mistakes like that, it makes it even more difficult.
Fourth penalty against Cincinnati. It's cost him 35 yards. Here's Benson running hard. Although when you look at the stats for the season, Cincinnati 5th lowest in the league in terms of penalties.
Well, a couple things they're doing well. They're not turning the ball over, and they're not committing a lot of penalties. And a lot of the credit needs to go to the quarterback. He's been outstanding in that regard.
Bengals with a 3rd down and 4 at their 27. Simpson is flanked wide to the left side. Leonard, the running back. Dalton's pass is caught and a flag down. Did Donald Lee, who made that catch, have possession? But there is a penalty flag. If the pass holds up, it's a gain of 10. The entire group discussing matters. We'll get the call from the referee, Jeff Triplett.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. However, illegal contact. Defense number 51 prior to the pass. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
So the ruling is that Lee did not make the catch. The ball was actually down as he tried to corral it, and Gerald McGrath is called for the penalty.
Well, once he sees the tight end, Donald Lee start working back across his face. McGrath, he's going to panic and grabs him a little bit, but it's a tough throw, a tough catch for Donald Lee.
By virtue of that penalty, first down for Cincinnati, Benson. And he is stopped by McGrath, picking up 4 yards. Cincinnati at 5-2, and a win here today would put them in a tie with the Steelers for the lead in the AFC North. Pittsburgh home tonight for Baltimore. Second down and 6 at the 36-yard line. That pass batted down. It is incomplete. Intended for Andre Caldwell.
Well, they're bringing Cortland Finnegan a lot off the slot. Seen him make a number of plays today, and you just see him come out of the right side of your screen there, and he's not blocked. It's a tough throw for Andy Dalton. Cortland Finnegan making a lot of plays when he goes back inside in the nickel in the slot.
Dalton making changes at the line, has a 3rd and 6. It is incomplete. Pass intended for Caldwell.
Well, that's the one guy I wouldn't work on, Cortland Finnegan. I mean, he's the Pro Bowler, he's their captain, he's their best cover man. And if I'm young Andy Dalton, I'm going to stay away from Cortland Finnegan. There's too many other people to work and have more success working somewhere else.
3rd punt for Kevin Huber. Mark Mariani taking the fair catch inside his 20, a 46-yard punt. Tuesday on CBS, for this detective, the key to solving crimes is remembering every detail. Poppy Montgomery and Dylan Walsh star in a new Unforgettable. That's Tuesday only, CBS.
You know, Marv, as I'm watching the first half of this game and watching Chris Johnson especially, we talked about how he was a little tentative and indecisive at times coming into this game, and you can't be that way as a runner. And what we're seeing now is we're seeing a little different Chris Johnson, a guy that's making quick, definitive decisions on where to go with the football.
The pitch to Johnson. Nice moves as he works the sideline and has a first down. Picked up 12 more.
And Chris Palmer's doing a really nice job, the offensive coordinator, finding ways. They fake the flip. They fake the belly to the fullback and flip it to Chris Johnson. Again, getting him outside. He's not had a lot of success running between the tackles, and so what they're trying to do is spread out this Cincinnati defense and get their back on the edge.
8 carries, 55 yards for Johnson. And again, Johnson. This time he's turned back by Thomas Howard. No gain on the play. Chris Johnson last year ran for 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns. 2009, when the Bengals won their division, he ran for 2,006 yards. 2-minute warning here in Nashville. Titans with a 10-7 lead on the Bengals. Good start, as you can see, for Matt Hasselbeck, particularly in connecting with 7 different receivers. Looking at a 2nd and 9 from the Tennessee 31. That is short of a first down. The catch made by Damian Williams. Picked up about 9.
And Matt Hasselbeck has always done a good job spreading the ball around regardless of what offense he's been in. And the thing that I like about him, Marv, is the ball's coming out so quick. He doesn't hold it. You see Damian Williams coming out of that break. The ball's already in the air before he turns his back.
The handoff to Johnson, picking his way and running very well here on the first half. Flag is down. Middle linebacker Dan Skuta making the stop on Johnson.
45 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, still third down.
They'll bring it back. Ahmad Hall, the fullback, called for the hold.
Yeah, he's going to grab Thomas Howard, the end man on the line of scrimmage. And there's a very good fullback right there, Ahmad Hall. Call him Sarge, and
yeah,
spent some time in the military and done a yeoman's effort over the years, opening up some big holes for Chris Johnson and the boys.
Served 4 years in the Marines, as did his wife, Joanna. Ahmad in Afghanistan back in 2002. This is right after high school. They went to Texas as a walk-on. Hasselbeck throwing beautifully, rifles it to the tight end, Jared Cook. It has a first down. 14-yard pickup. Timeout is taken. We'll be right back. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Chad, and Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher for all the latest NFL scores, highlights, all coming up on the Sprint Halftime. First down for Tennessee. Titans taking the timeout. They have 2 left, as do the Bengals. Johnson in the backfield. Hasselbeck out of the gun. And completes at the marker. Another Tennessee first down. Cook with the catch, and they'll mark his forward progress. Good for the first down. Hasselbeck hitting on a 6th straight pass. That was good for 11. They get right to it. Another completion inside the 40. The scoop made by Lavelle Hawkins. An advance of 5, and Tennessee takes their 2nd timeout. Outstanding first half for Matt Hasselbeck. Just completed on his 7th straight pass. As we mentioned earlier, he is connected with 7 different receivers.
Yeah, and he's done a really nice job as of late finding his tight end, Jared Cook, in the middle of the field. Well, they're going to review this last completion here, and I think that touches the ground.
Yeah. And as they check out the videotape, we will take a break. They are reviewing that last pass from Hasselbeck to Williams, and we took a look just a moment ago. It looked like the ball came out and touched the ground.
Yeah, a little low, and actually it's to Hawkins. It comes right through his back arm, and it touches the ground right there. And that one's going to come back.
Tennessee looking to stay with the Houston Texans, trying to maintain the pace. Houston over Cleveland earlier today, 30-12. So at the moment, Titans a full game behind the Texans.
After review, it is an incomplete pass. The ball hit the ground. Please reset the game clock to 55 seconds. It'll be second and 10 at the 44 and a half. Tennessee, because they call a timeout to keep the clock from running, will be given back their timeout, so they will have 2 timeouts remaining.
That was very generous of them, wasn't it? Certainly they appreciate that.
2 timeouts apiece for the Titans and the Bengals.
You just see Matt Hasselbeck. We talked to him on Friday, Marv, about how he's even more comfortable in this system than he was when we saw him a couple of weeks ago. It's each week he's getting better and better. And he said one of the areas where he feels a lot better is in the 2-minute situation.
And this is after 10 years in the West Coast offense with the Seahawks. This time the catch is made cleanly for a first down. Again, the tight end Jared Cook in front of free safety Reggie Nelson. Now the Titans.
Here in the slot, you see what he wants to do. He just wants him to go up and stop. And what happens is some of these tight ends, he's doing a little too much. You see how he's rounding it? Matt Hasselbeck wants him to put his foot in the ground and come right back to the quarterback. A little indecision, but right now this Cincinnati secondary, they're really struggling to cover the placed tight end. Doing a good job moving Jared Cook out away from the line of scrimmage. And you can see right now that secondary, Reggie Nelson and Crocker having a difficult time with the tight end.
Third reception for Cook. Hasselbeck goes underneath. Johnson tried to spin away and could not. Brandon Johnson with the tackle. That's only a 1-yard gain. Off the pump, it is batted down. That's the second pass that Hasselbeck has seen rejected by the combination of that huge front four, and it's the 6'7" Michael Johnson.
Yeah, they do a great job, even when they're not able to get pressure on the quarterback. Do a good job right where he's getting ready to throw it. They just come up. You see them all jumping? And that's frustrating for a quarterback because you're trying to find pockets, holes, and lanes in the middle of that defense.
Third down and 9 at the Cincinnati 30. Ringer has a first down inside the 20. Javon Ringer goes for 13.
Well, you caught him in the right defense right there. Really a nice call by Chris Palmer. They've been getting so much pressure, so much rush, and so much push up front that they just slipped the back out. Javon Ringer, you're going to see he's going to work across the formation, and he's just going to run the screen. And that offensive line, they're going to turn the rush go, and they're going to get out in front, and there's plenty of open field for Javon Ringer.
Titans take a timeout. It's their final timeout. A look at Chris Palmer, the offensive coordinator. Spent 2 seasons as head coach of the Cleveland Browns, 99 and 2000. Not an ideal situation when the Browns had re-entered the NFL as an expansion team. Long-time offensive coordinator. Hasselbeck going end zone and threw it away. Triple coverage on the tight end, Jared Cook.
Well, you look how efficient Matt Hasselbeck has been in the red zone. Look at those numbers, 10 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's completing over 75% of his throws, and he's making great decisions. He knows the situation here. There are no timeouts left. He can't take a sack. He's got to take a shot for the end zone, and if it's not there, you throw it away.
Down to 14 seconds remaining in the half. Hasselbeck taking a long look, goes end zone, touchdown! A wide open Lavelle Hawkins. Hawkins with his first touchdown catch of the season.
Well, you give the quarterback enough time, particularly a veteran one like Matt Hasselbeck. Kelly Jennings and Reggie Nelson don't do a good enough job here. But they're playing too deep coverage. The corner has to continue to sink, and he knows he's got to get some help over the top from the safety.
And as you can see, the first touchdown of Hawkins' career is in his fourth NFL season, fourth-round draft pick out of the University of California. Rob Baronis attempting the extra point. Puts it through.
Well, you get a good look at Kelly Jenkins at the top of your screen. He's going to turn him loose. He thinks he's got help from the safety, but he's got to continue to sink because there's no flat defender in his area. What a great throw by Matt Hasselbeck.
And Rich, following the extra point, both teams coming together, some pushing and shoving, words exchanged, and the officials very quick to break things up. With 8 seconds left in this first half, the booing obviously directed to the opposing team, the Cincinnati Bengals, most of it coming from the far side. It all started with Baronis getting involved with Nate Clements. Titans, back-to-back touchdowns, their last 2 possessions. They have a 17-7 lead. Tennessee Titans in the finale of a 3-game homestand, able to bounce back after that poor performance when they were walloped by the Houston Texans here 41-7 2 weeks back. Last week beat Indianapolis. Titans with wins over Baltimore, Denver, Cleveland, and Indianapolis. 3 losses at Jacksonville in the season opener, at Pittsburgh, and here at home in that blowout by Houston. Brandon Tate is back. He'll run it out. Tim Shaw makes the stop with 3 seconds remaining in the half. 21-yard return by
During the
Tate.
return, personal foul. Low block. Number 92, the receiving team. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Well, it's called on Frosty Rucker of the Bengals. Here's Rucker, a backup defensive end out of University of Southern Cal. So Andy Dalton will take a knee to conclude this first half. Halftime here in Nashville. The Titans with a 17-7 lead on the Bengals. Back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Hasselbeck to the end zone. Yes, touchdown.
After you.
Welcome back to Nashville, Tennessee, where the Titans lead the Bengals 17-7 as we head to the second half. Let's take a look at the NFL Mobile Recap presented by Verizon. And with 8 seconds remaining in the half, Matt Hasselbeck, who had a terrific first half, connecting with Lavelle Hawkins, his first career touchdown to extend the lead. The numbers for Hasselbeck, 14 of 21, 166 yards and 2 touchdowns. But how about Chris Johnson? We talked about him early, that the Titans were looking for a breakout game, and he had an excellent first half.
Well, they've done a really good job, Marv, spreading him around and putting him in the slot, moving him, getting him on the edge, and finding different ways to get him the ball in space. So that's really important to get him going, of course, because the play action, the game, and the big passes come off of that. Hasselbeck, he looks like he's in complete control. He is the field general of this offense.
Johnson, 9 carries, 55 yards, also caught 2 passes for 22 yards. His high for the season was against the Browns several weeks ago, 101 yards, but he came at averaging under 3 yards per carry. So a good start for Chris Johnson. Brandon Tate is back deep for the Bengals. Rob Baronis set to kick it off. Cincinnati coming into today trying to make it 5 straight wins. A record of 5-2. Titans at 4-3. A return by Tate. Hauled down across the 20-yard line by Jordan Babineau. 23-yard return as we look at the first half statistics.
Yeah, pretty good first half for the Tennessee offense. Look at those plays of 10 yards or more, 11. This is an area where they've really struggled. No Kenny Britt. Chris Johnson hasn't been running the ball as effectively, so that's good to see. And, of course, they've gotten down in the opponent's territory, and they've been able to come away with 17 points.
The Bengals will start out at their 22. The rookie quarterback, Andy Dalton, has Cedric Benson and Chris Presley in the backfield. The fullback Presley in front of Benson, who takes the handoff. Not much there. In fact, may have lost the yard. Stopped by Derek Morgan in his second year out of Georgia Tech. First-round draft pick of Tennessee last season. So Benson did lose a yard. It's a second down at 11 as we get underway here in the third quarter. Earlier, the Houston Texans defeating the Cleveland Browns, so they are a full game in front of Tennessee. Dalton's pass incomplete, intended for Simpson, who could not hold on.
You're just a little late with that throw, and those holes open and close so quick in the secondary. Andy Dalton trying to jam one in there to Jerome Simpson. You can see he's going to start looking to his left, comes right back inside, and now he's got to worry about the linebacker, the zoning linebacker, Barrett Roode, and get that one up and down.
Dalton now 8 of 15, 97 yards. He's thrown 3 straight incompletions going back to the second quarter. 3rd and 11. Dalton could not find anyone.
He tried to hold it up.
And he felt he took a late hit and no call.
Well, they do a really nice job. As you watch it, they're playing man-to-man coverage, and there's nowhere to go with this ball. I mean, they do a nice job passing it off. Look at the other side here. Nice job by McCourty. He's trailing, knows he's got help over the top from the safety Griffin.
Punting team is on for the 4th time. This is Kevin Huber. Mariani lets it go, and it takes a good hop for the Titans. Have that reverse English. So it's only a 25-yard punt. Tennessee back in possession when we return. Back in Tennessee, Marv Albert with Rich Gannon. Tennessee starts out from the Cincinnati 49, their best starting field position of the day. Chris Johnson. Stopped by backup tackle Pat Sims.
When you look at their first half possessions, Marvin, has been their history. They've not gotten off to good starts, but they got it rolling in the second quarter. 2 long drives, a 9-play, 78-yard drive that ended with a touchdown throw to Williams, and of course a 12-play, 81-yard drive with a touchdown pass right before the half to Hawkins. And played much better football in the second quarter than they did early in this game.
And they've done it against one of the better defensive teams in the NFL coming into today. Johnson looks to get to the outside. He's stopped, but a penalty marker is thrown. Jeff Triplett making certain.
Holding 86 to the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Wanted to check the number. It's the backup tight end Daniel Graham, number 86. 10-year man out of Colorado, one-time Patriot, one-time Bronco. Sets it back to a 2nd and 19.
Well, you're going to see a takedown by Graham right there on the middle of your screen. I mean, that's pretty impressive, but you can't grab Robert Gather's right shoulder and take him all the way down to the ground.
Hasselbeck out of the shotgun. He has Johnson to his left. Goes short range and not much there. Had to go to Lavelle Hawkins. Talking about Lavelle Hawkins with Hasselbeck, he refers to him as kind of a schoolyard wide receiver.
Schoolyard. So that undisciplined, just kind of run down to the water fountain and make a right?
Well, looking at it from the positive point of view, he finds his way.
He finds his way around the lunch boxes. And
you're killing the guy. He said that in a very, very generous manner.
Loving way.
Yes. 3rd and 16. Hasselbeck with the deep throw. It was intended for Damian Williams, double covered. So the punting unit will come on for the Titans.
Well, that was a big stop by that Cincinnati defense, Marv. They've been struggling a little bit offensively. They're behind 17-7. Tennessee had great field position. They weren't able to take advantage of that. When you're struggling a little bit on offense, a big return can really get you back in the game. And you look at that guy back there, Tate. He's been outstanding. Had a big day last week against Seattle.
Here's the punt by Brett Kern, nearly blocked. Tate muffed it, called for the fair catch, and then was able to recover. 40-yard punt. Cincinnati back in possession.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by the next generation Honda Civic, to each their own.
Cincinnati Bengals, one of the surprise teams of this season, trying to make it 5 straight wins, but trailing the Titans here in Nashville 17-7 as they take over at their 16-yard line. Cedric Benson bringing across the 20-yard line. Barrett Ruud with the stop, 4-yard advance. Some of the surprise teams, although Buffalo lost at home today to the Jets. San Francisco 49ers at 7-1.
Isn't that amazing? You think about the job that Jim Harbaugh has done without an offseason, putting a new staff together. And a lot of people criticize the decision to bring back Alex Smith. He's played well.
2nd and 6 for the Bengals from their 21. Golden picks up the first down as he completes with Jerome Simpson. Goes for 10. Werner getting Simpson out of bounds.
Well, I remember we sat down with Mike Munchak, Marv, on Friday, and one of the things he talked about is we've got to stress this Cincinnati offense, and they haven't been stressed to date, where they have got behind early, they've been struggling to run the ball, put the onus on the young quarterback, Andy Dalton.
And Dalton completes once again across the 35 to A.J. Green. That's a 6-yard pickup. Third catch for Green, who on the season has 36 receptions and 5 touchdowns, which is #1 among rookie wide receivers.
I don't think anyone's bothered to tell A.J. Green or Andy Dalton, they're just rookies. They're supposed to be making mistakes, and they have both played well beyond their years this early in the season.
Swing pass. Caldwell goes for 3 as Jarrell Casey makes the stop.
You talk about how well the two young guys have been playing, Andy Dalton and A.J. Green. Look at the wins and, of course, the completion percentage for a young quarterback, outstanding. And A.J. Green, and talking to Jay Gruden, the offensive coordinator, says he's been able to beat anybody he wants with whatever kind of route he wants to run.
Caldwell just short of the first down. And now they pick it up and more as Green comes up with his 4th reception. A.J. Green, a first-round draft pick, the 4th pick overall at 6'4", 207 out of the University of Georgia.
He just plucks the ball out of the air, and he's so quick, that first step. And what they're doing is they have these strong side runs called, and Dalton has the ability to throw that backside cut if he doesn't like the strong side run.
First out at midfield, that is deflected, and it is incomplete. Cortland Finnegan getting a piece of it.
I told Andy Dalton stay away from Cortland Finnegan. That guy makes so many plays on the ball. He does such a good job reading the quarterback's eyes. And a veteran corner will bait the young quarterback. He'll play off a little bit, knowing that he could drive on that throw and get underneath Andre Caldwell.
Benson and Presley in the backfield, lined up in the offset eye. The play fake, and then Dalton put it on the ground. Just looked to throw it away with Presley in the area. That brings up a 3rd down and 10.
Well, you're going to see Michael Griffin. He just comes right down, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to run the screen that way, and this one just doesn't work. They're trying to get that screen to the fullback, and Andy Dalton, all he can do there is just throw it away.
Now this sellout crowd on its feet with Cincinnati looking at a 3rd and 10 at midfield. Dalton, did he catch it? It was Andre Caldwell, and it's ruled incomplete. They took a long look, but Caldwell not able to hold on.
Oh, big hit there by Chris Hawkins. Andy Dalton trying to jam this one in, and watch the safety just come up and make a big hit. Anthony Smith, actually, that's actually Babineau.
So Huber is on for the 5th time. Good hang time. And a fair catch taken by Mariani. 40-yard punt. When we come back, Titans back in possession. Tennessee Titans will start out from deep in their territory. They go with Javon Ringer and Jamie Harper in the backfield. Hasselbeck throwing behind Davian Williams.
Well, he misses a throw here, but Matt Hasselbeck on the day, Marv, has been very effective. And, ball comes out of his hands so quick, been very accurate. He's making some good throws in the back of the end zone. I like how he's getting the tight ends involved, and we showed a graphic earlier how he does such a good job spreading the ball around. 7 different receivers have caught balls. There are 9 different receivers now. It's every time I turn around, he's thrown to a different receiver. He does a good job, whether it's tight ends, backs, or receivers. Good accurate throws by Matt Hasselbeck.
Hands it off to Johnson. Stopped by Pecco. 5 yards for Chris Johnson.
Well, I knew the yards wouldn't come easy against this Cincinnati defense. I mean, in terms of total defense, they're 4th, but they're 2nd against the run. They've only been up 85 yards a game on the ground, and you think about the Tennessee Titans, they're dead last in rushing, averaging less than 69 yards a game on the ground. Chris Johnson almost at that number already.
Well, they have surpassed it overall now, 73 yards rushing for the Titans.
Well, and the one thing you know, Marv, is they're tired of talking about what's wrong with the running game. You could just get the sense being around the facility on Friday. Coaches don't want to talk about it. Chris Johnson doesn't want to talk about it. Quarterback doesn't want to talk about it.
Play clock was not reset on the previous play. Now set at 25.
But it's only naturally going to get questions about the fact that they're last in rushing in the NFL.
And I almost felt sheepish in the production meetings having to ask the questions.
You felt sheepish?
Sheepish.
Rich, you got to ask those questions, and you did.
Well, we did.
And Hasselbeck's pass off the mark. I love when you're sheepish.
You know, and we didn't get a lot of answers. The interesting thing was when we talked to Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator for Cincinnati, he didn't want to talk about it either. He said, I don't want to jinx myself. I don't want the guy to have a breakout day against us. But no, it's been good to see Chris Johnson finally get going a little bit here tonight.
Brett Kern will punt it from his goal line. And Brandon Tate is at his 42. Tate game tackled back behind the 35-yard line. Tommy Campbell led the way. 52-yard punt. No return at all for Tate.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new HTC Radar 4G, available in stores now. And by Acura. Acura. Advance.
Bengals will start out from their 35-yard line. 7.5 remaining, third quarter. Long look by Dalton, and then he fires one deep. It is incomplete, and a flag is down. A.J. Green covered by Jason McCourty. And it'll be an interference on McCourty.
And what did Jay Gruden, the offensive coordinator in Cincinnati, tell us the other night? He said, if I told Andy Dalton, throw it up to A.J. Green if he gets one-on-one coverage.
Defense, number 30. Automatic first down.
Well, A.J. Green does a good job going to get the ball at its highest point. He's just going to jump back inside, literally jumps into Devin McCourty. But Jason McCourty does a really nice job. McCourty, all he can do is react.
It turns into a 45-yard penalty against Tennessee. The completion to Andre Caldwell for 5, covered by McCourty.
We needed a big play to get him going, and Jason McCourty has actually taken his game to another level. He's always been a physical run support player, but I think he's been more aggressive. He's playing with more confidence, especially in their pass defense. But right there, A.J. Green just makes an incredible play.
2nd down and 5. Here's the play fake. Dalton can't find anyone. Now throws end zone, and it is incomplete. A good idea as Simpson had some room on the right side of the end zone, but not able to come up with that pass.
Yeah, and in hindsight, as he watches that one on Monday morning, he's going to think to himself, maybe I should have run with the football. He does a nice job getting out on the edge, and they want to throw the crossing route, and you're going to see the corner continue to sink. Now pull the ball down and run. There's nowhere to go. He's trying to make a perfect throw in the back of the end zone. He could have picked up 7-8 yards just by running the football.
3rd down and 5 at the 15. Dalton fires. No indication as of yet. It is a touchdown. Simpson with the catch. Although well covered, what a pass from Andy Dalton.
Well, you talk about taking a shot. They do a nice job. He's just going to stick it right in between the linebacker and the safety, and took a pinpoint accurate throw and a gutsy throw by Andy Dalton. And he's made some tight throws in some real tight windows today, Marv.
I would think they will review that upstairs. And it will be a booth review, one of the new rules in the NFL that you can look at all touchdown plays. So we'll see if that holds up. That's pretty close. Well, they continue to take many looks at that touchdown catch, and the question is, did it cross
After
the plane?
review, the ruling on the field stands. It's a touchdown.
I would think, Rich, there was not enough. We saw a series of replays, not enough to overturn the ruling on the field.
No, I think it's the right call. It looks like Jerome Simpson had the ball around the goal line, and as he comes down, the ball clearly hits the goal line.
Now Mike Nugent with the extra point try. 6.5 remaining in this third quarter. It is good, so the Bengals are down by just 3.
Well, you talk about a big-time throw by Andy Dalton. He just jams this one right in there between Griffin and Barrett Rood. And Jerome Simpson does a nice job knowing he's going to get hit after the catch.
Simpson had a touchdown reception last week in Seattle. Has one right here. A look from above, an aerial coverage of today's game is being provided by MetLife. You set your clock back properly?
I didn't set my watch back. I set my clock back in the hotel room, though.
That sounds very confusing to me. So your
Too much
watch,
information, as you would say.
so for the next guest in your room, he'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
Right, that's good.
Well, a big play in that drive there was the PI on A.J. Green, and Andy Dalton gave him a chance. When he sees one-on-one coverage, he's going to give that rookie receiver an opportunity to go get it.
Mike Nugent with the kick. Mark Mariani had a notion to run it out. You could see he thought about it and then decided to stay right there. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 minutes and a powerful story about corruption on Capitol Hill, followed by a new amazing race, The Good Wife and CSI Miami. That's tonight only CBS. Titans will start out from their 20 off the touchback. Chris Johnson in the backfield. Matt Hasselbeck with a very strong second quarter. Throwing a couple of touchdowns. And now pegs it for a first down. Gets it out across the 30 to Nate Washington. That's good for 11.
Wasn't it interesting on Friday, Matt Hasselbeck telling us he wants more flexibility and freedom at the line of scrimmage. Wants to be able to change some plays and get to some strong side runs when they've got a weak side run called into an overload. And you can just see him doing more and more at the line of scrimmage.
Looking at a 1st and 10.
He really felt like he could see where the blitz was coming and run away from it.
And he goes to the ground. Chris Johnson stopped at the line. So no gain on the play. Robert Gathers, the left defensive end, with the wraps on Johnson.
Well, they do a nice job. You're going to see Crocker. He's free, and so he's just going to try and run the ball away from the safety. It's hard to get that backside cutoff, and you're going to be one short. Talk about a box count, how important that is. A lot of the responsibility in the running game falls on the quarterback, Matt Hasselbeck.
A box count?
You want to make sure you have enough offensive players to block how many defenders are in the box. So if they have one extra, you're going to be short.
Here is Johnson on the subject of terms like box count. Rich, you can relate to this. Matt Hasselbeck telling us how helpful his wife Sarah has been over the years and quizzing him regarding formation terminology.
Yeah, each week they'll get not only new plays, but new formations and motions and shifts. And so Matt learned a long time ago, like I did, that, you know, on Wednesdays and Thursday nights, it's a big study night. So his wife actually helps him memorize the formations each and every week. It's a team effort.
Said they'd be at dinner and his wife Sarah would yell, "Blue left."
That's right. And he'd have to give the rest of the play.
Was she wearing a wristband or she just memorized?
Let's see his wristband. It's expanding each and every week.
Titans take a timeout.
And what's happening is they're bringing those safeties down, and I think it's confusing Hasselbeck, and he hasn't had enough time to change the play, so he had to waste a timeout.
Well, coming this December, a game of honor will take you behind the scenes of Army and Navy football. You can watch exclusive online episodes at cbssports.com/honor. And on the subject of the service academy yesterday, as seen here on CBS, Air Force defeating Army to take the Commander-in-Chief trophy. Third down and 8. Hasselbeck throwing sideline. Titans looking for an interference. Pass intended for Donnie Avery, who was signed as a free agent following that injury suffered by Kenny Britt.
Well, they get a break here. This is a really nice throw by Matt Hasselbeck. He puts enough air on it.
Roughing the passer, number 97 of the defense.
Well, the Titans do get a call.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They get it on a late hit by Geno Atkins, the Bengals defensive tackle.
Well, that just kills you. You got him in a third down situation. You're trying to get off the field, and you've got a personal foul like that. And you give Matt Hasselbeck in this offense 4 more downs.
Titans first down at their 48-yard line as we come up on 4 minutes to play in this third quarter. Johnson stutter stepping his way, not able to find the room, and a stop for no gain.
Well, you can see a little bit of a pause sometimes in the hole, and talk about vision. And you know, one of the things that they've talked about all week here in Tennessee is sustaining blocks and getting up on the second level. Right here, you're going to see him pause because he wants to wind that back, but the Bengals doing a good job getting those safeties down around the line of scrimmage. You can see Chris Crocker actually making that stop.
2nd and 10, and Hasselbeck high and wide, intended for Jamie Harper. All right, time for an NFL Today update. Go to JB.
Carson Palmer getting in the groove, Boomer.
Shades of Rich Gannon down in Oakland. How about Carson Palmer, 18 yards to Jacoby Ford down the left sideline. 3 TD passes for the day for Carson Palmer. They lead 24-14.
A nice shade of Rich Gannon. Marv Albert and Rich Gannon.
Well, guys, it didn't take him too long, did it? It's amazing. You know, Oakland's won the last 4 meetings against Denver, and Carson Palmer really playing well.
3rd and 10 for Hasselbeck. Facing pressure, taken down, and the ball knocked out of his hands, but he was down. Carlos Dunlap coming up with the sack.
Boy, really nice job by Carlos Dunlap. You're going to see at the top of your screen, he's working on the right tackle, David Stewart. He's just going to keep coming, keep coming. Hasselbeck never feels him till the very end. Boy, really a great effort off the edge.
Rich, on the subject of the former Bengal quarterback Carson Palmer, an excellent interview, I thought, earlier on the NFL Today by Shannon Sharp with Carson Palmer, who said, yes, it was a selfish move on his part, but he had to go, had to get out of Cincinnati. He was asked about the negativity that he constantly hears in the media, as well as
the play is
online.
not challengeable.
Apparently the Bengals were trying to challenge that ball being knocked away from Hasselbeck, and you heard the reply to that. Carson Palmer says he prefers that he hear the negativity because it motivates him. Do you believe that?
Well, I think so. I mean, he wants to do well. He's heard a lot of criticism over the last year or so, and it didn't end well for him in Cincinnati.
Kern's punt taken by Tate. No running room, and he's dropped inside the 25, 46-yard punt. Chris Hawkins able to make the stop. And let's get back to JB and the former Bengal quarterback, Boomer Esiason.
Hey, Boomer, pound and ground by the Giants.
Say the Giant defense is smothering Tom Brady. 3 turnovers already on the day. After the last one, Brandon Jacobs takes this one in, 10 yards out. Patriots come back, tack on a field goal, 10-3 New York Giants.
Shades of maybe Christian Okoye, huh? Weight-wise, back to Marv Albert and Rich Gannon.
And no Ahmad Bradshaw, that's pretty impressive. And Bill Belichick just 2-3 all time against the Giants.
Cincinnati 1st and 10 from their 25. Big hole for Benson. Cedric Benson reaching across the 40-yard line as he goes for 16, taken down by the strong safety Jordan Babineau.
Well, Ced Benson, we talked about him hitting the hole quickly, and he's a downhill runner. And the thing is very patient. You see him press the hole. He's going to start working back up inside. He gets up on the second level and could be in for a long day if you can't find a way to stop him around the line of scrimmage.
Benson getting the call again. Try to get to the outside, tackled at the 44 by a combination of Babineau and Finnegan. Picked up 4.
Well, Marv, they have this huge offensive line and a big back like Ced Benson that can hammer you in the running game. And if you don't handle it well early, you're gonna be in for a long day, and because they are committed to it, and they want to wear down this front 7 by pounding the football.
It's a 2nd down and 6. Dalton able to dump it off and comes up with a 1st down as Benson is able to make something out of it. Again, it's Babineau with the tackle. It's a 12-yard advance. Babineau and Finnegan combining.
Well, this is great poise by Andy Dalton. He tries to change the play. He knows he's short. He's got the safety come right to the last second. He just kicks it wide to Cedric Benson. No panic at all. He knows exactly where his outlet throw is.
A minute remaining in the 3rd. 3-point lead for the Titans. 1st down play for Dalton. The tight end Donald Lee with the catch. Try to go to the stiff arm, but not much there. Picked up 2. Babineau makes the stop.
When you study Andy Dalton, you can tell that he really understands protections. He knows where they're short, where they're vulnerable. And the other thing that's impressive is the volume. You know, talking to Jay Gruden, the offensive coordinator, he says, I don't worry about him, but rather the other players. This guy can handle as much volume as we can give him each week.
2nd down and 8 as this 3rd quarter concludes. Dalton with a nice pass right at the marker, connecting with Caldwell. Let's see where they spot it. That should do it for this 3rd quarter. So Cincinnati on the move. And they'll take a long look at the spot. After 3, the Titans, 17, the Bengals, 14. We'll be back here in Nashville after this message.
Why does the play clock say 5 seconds?
Well, apparently the 3rd quarter still showing 5 seconds. They stopped the clock for the measurement. It is very close. Just short of a 1st down. So with the official timeout, the clock was stopped, and now the clock is reactivated. And we are headed to commercial. Back in Nashville, Tennessee, out of the 4th quarter. It's a 3rd and inches for the Bengals. Quarterback sneak, and Dalton has the 1st down. So Dalton on the keeper goes for 2, and it is a first down for Cincinnati.
Well, they're doing a nice job. They're moving the ball much better here in the second half, and a big reason why is that guy right there, Andy Dalton. Marv, he's made some great throws. He's making good decisions. They're bringing pressure, and he's handling it well.
First and 10 at the Tennessee 32. Here is Benson, and a flag is thrown.
Holding, 63 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
It's called on the right guard, Bobby Williams.
We were talking about how well Andy Dalton has played so far, Marv. 16 of 27, 156 yards, a couple touchdowns, moving around outside the pocket. And just his patience and his poise and his accuracy and location on throws to me has been very impressive.
And we're talking about a second-round draft pick with 4 quarterbacks, so all 4 solid quarterbacks, but going before Dalton. Here's a completion thrown by Dalton. A.J. Green able to reach using his 6'4" over the defender and going for 23.
And we talked, the coaches have said that the issue with Andy Dalton, the reason he went in the second round was there's some concerns about his arm strength. I mean, are you kidding me? This guy has made a lot of great throws here today, and sticking him in between safeties and linebackers, getting him up and down. This guy can make all the throws easily in this offense.
First down at the Tennessee 19. The toss to Benson. Try to make the turn, but forced out by the free safety Michael Griffin, picked up just 2.
Well, both teams have been absolutely perfect in the red zone today. You see Cincinnati 2 for 2, and same with Tennessee. And good red zone teams have the ability to run the ball in this part of the field. That's something Cincinnati has done an excellent job of throughout the season.
Dalton works out of the shotgun. Benson is to his left. Play action. And Dalton just throws it away. Pressure by the Titans. Crowd is booing because they're looking for intentional grounding.
Oh, he's outside the pocket. You see Jay Gruden over there talking to his quarterback, and he must have saw something. Mike Munchak not happy either.
Cincinnati Bengals coming into today, half game behind Pittsburgh Steelers, AFC North, tied with Baltimore. Tonight, Ravens playing in Pittsburgh. Steelers looking to avenge that earlier loss to Baltimore. There's Dalton running out of the pocket. Dalton slides inside the 10 when a flag is down. 2 flags tossed in the backfield.
Holding, 71 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, still third down.
Another penalty, the 8th called on the Bengals. The right tackle this time, Andre Smith.
Well, he had a couple last week as well. He's done a much better job with his conditioning and his weight. He's played better football on the right side of that offensive line. But sometimes his footwork gets a little sloppy late in games. Got to be able to hold the edge.
Penalty calls have hurt the Bengals. They're 5th lowest in the league coming into today's play. Now they're looking at a 3rd and 18. Dalton. And the catch is made by A.J. Green. So the rookie combination continues, and off the collision, there are 2 Titans who were shaken up. One is Michael Griffin, the free safety. They were double covering on A.J. Green. Green made the catch, and they collided. Here's another look. Whoa. A look at Jason McCourty, who was involved in the collision a moment ago with Michael Griffin off the jump ball specialist A.J. Green, who just came up with his 6th catch to set up a 1st and goal for Cincinnati.
And what we know about A.J. Green, Marv, he's able to make the difficult catch, and he attacks the ball when it's in the air. And he's fearless. I mean, we've seen that today. This is not an easy catch. He knows he's going to get hit. McCourty's coming back. You see Griffin there. They actually collide and run into each other. And you can see A.J. Green comes down with a difficult catch. Good concentration there. And then you just see Griffin and McCourty take each other out.
Anthony Smith has come on for Michael Griffin and Alfred Werner for Jason McCourty. 1st and goal at the 7. Play action. Touchdown. Oh, now they say he's out. Out of the end zone. Incomplete.
Well, you just love the play call by Jay Gruden, though, don't you, Marv? I mean, 2 players come out of the game. You take Griffin out and McCourty, so you've got your 5th and 6th defenders in there, so they try and take a shot right down the middle of the field and just can't get that left foot in bounds. Jerome Simpson can't drag that left one behind him. Just run out of room in the back of the end zone.
2nd and goal at the 7. Bengals looking to recapture the lead.
He's trying to move the tight end over.
And now Dalton using a timeout. 11.5 remaining in the 4th. Titans by 3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Droid Razor. Thin is no longer frail, only at Verizon. Pizza Hut. Right now, get any pizza for just $10, only at your Pizza Hut. And by Toyota.
The Titans' 2-time Pro Bowl free safety Michael Griffin, involved in that collision moments ago, is back on the field. It's a 2nd and goal from the 7-yard line. On this drive, Andy Dalton has hit on 4 of 6 for 52 yards. It's been primarily a combination of Dalton and Green. Bengals with the empty backfield. Dalton swings it out. Caldwell takes a pop inside the 5. Werner leading the way, so that's a 2-yard pickup, and it brings up a 3rd and goal from the 5.
Yeah, Jay Gruden there, you got to see, good job today, really helping the quarterback, getting the plays in early, the substitutions, giving Andy Dalton plenty of time at the line of scrimmage.
Green is flanked wide to the right. The running back is Brian Leonard to the right of Dalton. Dalton fires, touchdown. Andre Caldwell on a 5-yard touchdown pass play, and the Bengals are back on top.
This ball comes out so quick, you're going to see him in the slot. Ayers is going to come from the inside, but Andy Dalton throws the ball away from the inside defender, and Ayers can't make the play on Caldwell.
Andre Caldwell, 3rd-round draft pick out of Florida 4 years ago. He comes up with a 2nd touchdown reception of the season. Mike Nugent on for the extra point. We have a good one going here in Nashville with 10 minutes, 52 seconds to play. Bengals now 21, Titans 17. Coming up, time permitting, after the game, the Subway postgame show. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Subway postgame. Andy Dalton throwing his 3rd touchdown pass of the game. That is a career high. for Dalton. Good kick again, and Mariani will stay right there. They'll bring it out to the 20. Follow the NFL while on the go with the NFL's new mobile apps. To learn more, go to NFL.com/mobile. Long drive engineered by the rookie quarterback, Andy Dalton. 13 plays, 75 yards. They had it for nearly 7 minutes. Touchdown pass to Andre Caldwell. Dalton is now 20 of 33, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns. Hasselbeck on a screen. Johnson with running room. Johnson taken out of bounds across the 35. First down, Tennessee on a 17-yard hookup.
Well, a lot going on here. They're going to fake the run. He's going to get out in the screen. Then they fake the end around. And what it does is diverts your attention away from Chris Johnson, who's going to slip out behind that offensive line. Talk about getting him out on the edge in space where he can make big plays.
Titans 1st and 10 from their 37. Empty backfield for Hasselbeck. Johnson is flanked wide to the right. Hasselbeck looking for him. Finds him. Once again, they get the ball in the hands of Chris Johnson. Thomas Howard makes the stop. Johnson picking up 6.
And they want to displace Chris Johnson, get him out away from the line of scrimmage. And remember, Chris Johnson originally went to East Carolina as a wide receiver. And that's what Chris Palmer keeps reminding us every time we come in here. This guy can make plays in the passing game.
Hasselbeck throwing one deep down the right side, overthrows Nate Washington. Covered by Nate Clements, the left corner. Time for another NFL Today update. JB and Boomer.
Carson Palmer picked off. Denver capitalizes.
A wild one in Oakland unfolding right here. Willis McGahee right up the middle. 60 yards, and as JB said, off of the Carson Palmer interception. This goes all the way for the touchdown. Score now tied 24-24.
Early in the 4th. Back to Marv and Rich.
All right, guys, here it's a 3rd down and 3 for Tennessee from their 44. Hasselbeck close to the marker. We'll have to wait for the spot. It's covered up by Atkins.
He's going to be just short. Mike Munchak looking at it again. He went for it on a 4th and 2 earlier in the game. And
for a moment, it appeared that he might go for it, but now the punting team has come on. Brett Kern will boot it from his 32 or 33-yard line. And apparently they will get a measurement, but from our angle, now apparently they changed to the kicking ball. It looked like he was calling for the yardsticks, but it's a different ball that is used by the punters and the placement kickers. Clements, who is back this time, and the ball carries into the end zone. So to bring it out to the 20. It's a 54-yard punt. 8:44 left in the 4th.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Allstate. Shop less, get more. Make one call to an Allstate agent. And by Craftsman. Trust in your hands.
Welcome back to Nashville, Tennessee. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon. 8:44 left, 4th quarter. Bengals with a 21-17 lead over the Titans. Bernard Scott now in the backfield. Scott with the call. Picked up 4 on that play.
Yeah, and with a couple uneventful series early, they've found their rhythm the last 2 and 13 plays, 75 yards. That's demoralizing for a defense. They were able to overcome 2 big penalties in that drive.
2nd down and 6 for Andy Dalton and the Bengals. Dalton now 20 of 33, 206 yards and a single-game NFL high 3 touchdowns. Lunging catch made by A.J. Green just across the 30-yard line.
Well, you see, this is actually a running play. Just watch the offensive line. Everybody's going to run the run. Andy Dalton decides to throw it to A.J. Green. This is what we've seen 3 or 4 times today on 1st down. He has the option, the flexibility, to kick it out wide to A.J. Green and pick up some positive yardage.
7th catch for Green. Has the 1st down at the 30. The toss to Scott. Bernard Scott running well. Had a good one last week in Seattle. Picked up 7 right there. Bernard Scott in his 3rd season out of Abilene Christian. 6th round draft pick.
They're starting to wear down this Tennessee front 7. They've been on the field. This defense has been on the field a lot, Marv, here in the 2nd half.
And the Bengals are staying with Scott on this series. There's the swing pass intended for Scott. So that brings up a 3rd and 3.
Well, one of the first balls we've seen Andy Dalton miss in a while. Part of it was trying to get it over the defensive end. Just put a little too much air on that for Bernard Scott.
This time it is Leonard, and he is stopped short of a 1st down.
There's been a lot of check with me at the line of scrimmage by Andy Dalton. What does that mean? Check with me essentially means I can run to the right or the left based on the front and the displacement of the secondary. So Andy Dalton gets up there, he looks at the front, decides, is it better to run to my right or left? And so we're seeing a lot of that at the line of scrimmage.
They have called for a measurement.
They're going to be just a little bit short. No? Well, they got a good spot.
Very favorable spot.
Right? From up here, it looked like he was going to be just a little bit short. Mike Munchak wanting to get that ball back and give his offense a chance. Defense is getting tired. They've been out in the field a lot. Don't have any answers right now for Andy Dalton.
Cincinnati 6 of 8 on 3rd down to now have a 1st down at the 40. Here's Scott once again, and a flag is thrown. Scott stopped by Barrett Rue, the middle linebacker.
Holding 62 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Penalty on the left guard, Nate Livings.
Well, it's not even necessary. You're going to see Nate Livings right there in the end. He just gets his left arm up under the neck of the linebacker, Gerald McGrath, and that's driving Marvin Lewis crazy right now. The penalties by this offense, they've been able to overcome of them, but 9 for 87 already today, Marv.
Very high number for Cincinnati. Out of the gun, here's Dalton. And he threw off the mark, intended for Leonard, but it was behind him. Right here, let's get back to JB and Boomer for an update.
Boomer, it's criminal to have this many weapons at your disposal.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is having quite a day. 20 of 24, 246. This is his 4th touchdown pass on the day. This time, 4 yards to Greg Jennings. They go up 44-24 on the San Diego Chargers. What a day for Aaron Rodgers.
4th different receiver, Marv and Rich.
Well, JB and Boomer, the Packers are going for their 14th consecutive win, and Aaron Rodgers is looking like the league MVP.
On 2nd and 20, not much for Bernard Scott. Michael Griffin, the free safety, right there. Michael Griffin coming off a bounce-back season, making it to the Pro Bowl last year for a second time. Griffin involved in that wicked collision with Jason McCourty.
Well, if you're the Tennessee defense, 3rd and 19, you've got to be thinking screen or draw in this situation.
Bengals with a 21-17 lead on the Titans. And Dalton intended for Simpson.
Well, he's missed the last 3 or 4 throws, and that's a tough one to try and fit in there. Just trying to throw the deep out route. The problem is he's got McCourty underneath and Griffin over the top. That's a tough throw for Andy Dalton.
Kevin Huber comes on for the 6th time. Mark Mariani is back at his 22, just under 5 minutes to play in this 4th quarter. Mariani letting it bounce and then has to cover up because the ball was touched. It was a live ball. So Tennessee will start out from deep in their own territory. Good punt, 47 yards, no return. Coming up, time permitting, after the game, it's the Subway postgame. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher will have all the latest NFL scores on a busy day, plus all the highlights coming up on the Subway postgame show. Tennessee will start out from its 21. They have Johnson and Ringer in the backfield. Oh, that was nearly picked off. Batted by Carlos Dunlap. And apparently they say that it's a touchdown. Dunlap able to run it in because it is ruled a lateral.
Well, I'm sure they're going to challenge that. That was close. What an instinctive play by Dunlap. You're going to see him at the bottom of your screen.
We're reviewing the previous play, as the ruling on the field is as a backward pass.
Well, it's not. That's coming back. They're going to be all right. It's going forward. You can see right there. He's trying to throw a little swing pass to Javon Ringer, and they've gotten their hands on a number of balls today. Very good play by Carlos Dunlap, but that will not count. You can see that ball, Matt Hasselbeck was throwing that ball downhill. That gentleman right there, you look on your screen, that back judge, Steve Freeman.
We talked about it earlier, Matt Hasselbeck telling us on Friday after practice, you look at the defensive linemen on the Bengals, said like they're NBA players sitting out the lockout. You have a guy 6'7", Dunlap, who made that play, is 6'6", and you have 6'3", 6'4", another 6'3".
Well, look how long his arms are, and he does such a great job recognizing it. And then he has the smarts to go pick it up. And you saw that triplet back there was calling it a live ball. I thought Matt was throwing it forward. So.
But a nice play by Carlos Dunlap, second-year man out of Florida, second-round draft pick. Last year had a very strong finish to the season a year ago, 9.5 sacks, final 8 games.
It's amazing when he talked with Hasselbeck. That was one of his concerns. He says, every time I put a tape on, one of these big players up front is batting a ball and knocking it down. It's going to make it very difficult in our quick game. And one of the things you have to keep reminding the offensive line, be aggressive, fire out, and get their hands down. Don't allow them to put their hands up and bat balls.
Dunlap holding on to the football in case it is a touchdown. He wants it for the trophy case.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they don't overturn this.
After review, The passer releases the ball behind the main line, and it's touched beyond the main line. Therefore, it is an incomplete pass. Please reset the game clock to 4:47. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for Cincinnati.
Well, of most significance in the life of Carlos Dunlap, he had to return the football.
That's right. And you know I know something, Marv, about incomplete passes.
Really?
Yeah, I've thrown a couple of them. He didn't want to let go of it. Look. You had to give it back.
So it is ruled a forward pass. And it was just a deflection, but a good play on the part of Carlos Dunlap. 2nd down and 10. And that is incomplete intended for Nate Washington. Well, for those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS in the game between the Cincinnati Bengals, Tennessee Titans. I'm Marv Albert along with Rich Gannon, with the Bengals in front of the Titans 21-17. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast, where it will be seen at its regularly scheduled time. Hasselbeck in trouble, and it's dropped. Dropped by Chris Johnson.
A little pushing and shoving going on after the play. See, David Stewart's been involved in a number of them, and Hasselbeck just trying to get rid of that ball. That's a big series, big stop by that Cincinnati defense. There's our guy again, making some big plays. Carlos Dunlap, he's been all over the field today. And this defense, there's a reason why this is a top 5 defense. They play with great energy and passion. They all run to the football, and they tackle well.
So Brett Kern will punt from the 7. This is Tate with the fair catch across the 35-yard line. Let's get back to our New York studios. JB.
Denver takes the lead in dramatic fashion.
They sure do. Watch Eddie Royal right here. 85 yards. He's going to take it all the way back, breaking tackle after tackle. And then look at him pick up speed. Once he crosses the 50-yard line, nobody on Oakland can catch him. Denver takes the lead 31-24. The old AFL has returned.
Denver has outscored Oakland 24-7 in the second half. Marv Albert and Rich Gannon.
Here in Nashville, just under 4.5 remaining in the 4th quarter. The Bengals with a 21-17 lead on the Titans. Benson stopped at the line by Rude. Titans at 4-3. Chasing the Houston Texans, who won earlier over the Cleveland Browns, so they're a game behind Houston. Timeout has been taken by Tennessee.
When you look at the quarterback comparison in the second half, and Andy Dalton showing up, the veteran Matt Hasselbeck has gotten the better of this battle. Really been impressed with his location on throws, Marv. His accuracy and balls coming out quick. Guy doesn't play scared, that's for sure.
Talked about the AFC South. Look at the AFC North. Pittsburgh playing Baltimore tonight. Cincinnati a half game behind at the moment and tied with the Ravens. Titans incidentally have just 1 timeout remaining. The Bengals with 2. Play action. The fullback Chris Presley on the reception, met by Jason McCourty, only 3 yards. Picked up. It'll be a 3rd down and 7, and the Titans take their final timeout. They will have the 2-minute warning. So down to 4:19 left here in the 4th.
Well, you look at some of the early headlines from today, Marv. The Jets get a big win, their first road win of the season. This is where I think good teams begin to make their move, and the Houston Texans the best running back tandem in the game, Foster and Tate. And how about Tony Sperano and the Dolphins? Real happy for him. Matt Moore and Reggie Bush had big days. Surprising 31-3 victory in Kansas City.
So after Kansas City had won 3 in a row after the 0-3 start.
Well, Todd Haley might have to shave his beard.
Yes. Change the hat.
Oh, big third down here for this Tennessee defense.
3rd and 7.
Curious to see if they bring pressure. Nope, just a 4-man rush.
Empty backfield for Dalton. Flag is thrown. Dalton's pass incomplete. Intended for Donald Lee.
Yeah.
Out here is Jeff Triplett.
Illegal formation offense. Number 18, cover up the tight end. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
Referring to A.J. Green, the outstanding rookie wide receiver, but on that penalty, the punting unit will come on. Here's Kevin Huber for the 7th time, and Mark Mariani is back at his 18-yard line. Beautiful punt by Huber. And Mariani runs it out of bounds. So that stops the clock with 4 minutes and 4 seconds to go in this 4th quarter. Flag has been thrown. 46-yard punt, 8-yard return.
During the return, holding, number 25 in the return team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Called on Anthony Smith. We're set for another update. Let's go to JB and Boomer.
Eli Manning making up for an earlier pick, Boomer.
JB, it must be a full moon tonight because a lot of crazy things are happening. Eli Manning finds Mario Manningham back at the end zone, 10-yard TD. 3 minutes left to go. Tom Brady on the field trying to bring the Patriots back. They're down 17-13 to the New York Giants.
Marv and Rich.
A wild day throughout the NFL. Let's see what the Titans can do right here. Starting out from their 12-yard line, looking to come from behind. Hasselbeck steps up, and underneath has the tight end Jared Cook. Ball was knocked loose. Bengals claim they have it. Nate Clemens knocked it free. And let's see what the official call is. They say Tennessee maintains. Wait a moment, no.
Well, nice job here by Nate Clemens. You're going to see him rip it out with that right hand. He's digging. And what they say, he was down at that point, his forward progress. I think they're going to say that was a live ball, and that's out. What a nice play by Nate Clemens.
So it will be Cincinnati ball.
Mike Munchak's got to be frustrated. And they've done actually a pretty good job, Marv. They've turned the ball over just 8 times offensively. That's tops with Cincinnati. But boy, that came at the most inopportune time for Jared Cook.
So the Bengals take over at the Titan 20-yard line, and Benson, the ball carrier. Stopped by Akeem Ayers. Benson picks up 3 as we approach 3.5 minutes remaining in the 4th. Tennessee does not have any timeouts remaining.
So Andy Dalton's going to keep him in the huddle. He's going to try and really take this clock all the way down inside a couple seconds before he snaps it. See him sitting there in the huddle. He's just waiting to even call the play. Doesn't want the offensive line to have to sit in their stance for a long time at the line of scrimmage. With a look at Nate Clemens. Come up with a great takeaway.
2nd down and 7 down at the 17. Benson had some running room and then was cut down by Ayers, just a yard on the play.
You see they're seeking their first 5-game win streak since 1988 when our guy Boomer Esiason was the quarterback, and they've already won more games this season than they won all of last year when they went 4-12. It's been a great year so far for Marvin Lewis.
During that 4-12 season, at one point they dropped 10 in a row. Benson has now run 19 times for 79 yards. And again, it is Benson, but he is stopped, which will take us to the 2-minute warning. Sean Smith making the tackle, no gain on the play. So it is a 4th and 7 at the 17 when we come back.
You get a good look at Matt Hasselbeck talking to Chris Palmer, the offensive coordinator, about the scenario coming up after this field goal try. They're going to have plenty of time, probably around 1:55. No timeouts, but still plenty of time for the Tennessee offense.
Saw the numbers. Nugent is 15 of 16. This is a 35-yard attempt. His only miss from 43 a couple of weeks back. Looking to give Cincinnati a 7-point lead. And he does. So the Titans will get it back with an opportunity, down by 7, with 1:55 to play in this fourth quarter. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and a powerful story about corruption on Capitol Hill, followed by a new Amazing Race, The Good Wife, and CSI Miami. Tonight only CBS.
Well, Matt Hasselbeck has been in a lot of these situations, Marv. You practice them every week, these 2-minute drills with sometimes you've got timeouts. This situation, no timeouts. There's other ways to stop the clock. Incompletion here won't kill you. He's got to do a really good job. The ball's completed in play, really hustling the offensive line. There's got to be a sense of urgency to get up to the line of scrimmage and get another play called.
Let's see what Mark Mariani can do here. Has not had many opportunities to return kickoffs, with Mike Nugent putting them in the end zone. He's averaging 24 yards per return.
It's not just the depth on these kickoffs that determine whether or not these returners bring them out, but it's also the height that the kickers get on it.
And another strong kick, and Mariani will stay in the end zone to bring it out to the 20.
Well, now Matt Hasselbeck will get a chance to go to work against this Cincinnati defense, and Bengals have played much better in the second half. They've been outstanding at stopping the run. They've gotten off the field on third down. Think about the second half possessions for Tennessee. 5 straight punts and a fumble.
Chris Johnson in the backfield alongside Matt Hasselbeck. Hasselbeck throws the middle. Nice catch is made, but not much there. Nate Washington picks up 4 on that reception, and Washington was hit hard.
Looks like he was grabbing the back of his right hamstring there.
Nate Washington in his 3rd year with Tennessee after 4 seasons as a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers, a member of 2 Super Bowl championship teams. Been the Titans' leading receiver. Brandon Johnson, the linebacker,
Well, they
made
can't
the stop.
Yeah, they can't afford to lose Nate Washington, and already without Kenny Britt, Nate Washington's become Matt Hasselbeck's go-to guy. And they're young and kind of inexperienced everywhere else. They got Hawkins and Williams, and brought in Donnie Avery about a month ago. And
Nate hearing the applause from this crowd as he hobbles to the sideline. Referee Jeff Triplett making the announcement it's an injury timeout, so
And the consequence of that, because Tennessee has no timeouts, is a 10-second runoff inside 2 minutes. So that was costly as well.
now they resume the running of the clock as Hasselbeck pumps it. Can't find anybody, and now does. Looked like it's a first down as Damian Williams made the catch and then was shoved back the other way by Nate Clements. It is a first down, but the clock is running.
They're wasting a lot of time.
And a diving attempt made by Donnie Avery. It is incomplete. So that stops the clock with 1:08 left in the fourth.
Well, Bengals have been really good in the last 2 minutes of games. Look at that, 0 points allowed in the fourth quarter. That's all season. And Mike Zimmer does a really good job with this defense.
2nd and 10 from the 31. Lavelle Hawkins had the ball jarred, bobbled, but able to hang on right at the marker. It is a first down, but time running out here on the Titans. Hasselbeck throwing. Once again, it's Williams out at midfield.
They're better off clocking it. They're wasting too much time. You got to clock it. There you go.
Spikes it to stop the clock with 35 seconds remaining, and a penalty marker is thrown.
Well, I think they're going to have an issue. Stevens wasn't set. He's moving at the snap of the ball. And that'll be a runoff as well.
False start. Number 87 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down. Because the game clock was running, there'll be a 10-second runoff. Put the game clock at 25 seconds.
Kills you.
We'll start on the ready for play.
And I'm surprised, Marv, that they've been attacking the middle of the field. They've not been trying to work the boundary at all with no timeouts left.
They run it off. It's now 25 seconds to go in the game. Hasselbeck again throws to the middle of the field, nearly intercepted. Pass intended for Chris Johnson. Nate Clements not able to hang on.
Well, he's got a receiver right down the middle of the field because the safety falls down. Reggie Nelson, he just never sees him. He's looking at the back the whole way. Well, they got to pick up about 18, 20 yards the next play or two to be able to have a shot to throw it in the end zone.
Apparently it's Brandon Johnson who had a crack at the interception, and now Hasselbeck is taken down.
That'll do it. They won't even get back to the line of scrimmage. Look at this.
Dunlap comes up with the sack. And one of the Bengals is down. Clock showing just 7 seconds to play. And it is Carlos Dunlap who's come up big in the second half.
Well, he's coming around the edge. He's done a nice job. He's made life difficult today for David Stewart, and you see him grab that right hamstring right there at the end. He's had a lot of snaps. He's made things difficult for Hasselbeck. He's made Hasselbeck step up in the pocket a lot today because he's done a great job getting good pressure off the edge. Well, you got 7 seconds left now. You got essentially one play, and they're over here on the sidelines talking about it. And, you know, the old hook and lateral and trying to keep it alive. And
as you mentioned a moment ago, it is puzzling as to why Hasselbeck did not try to go sideline to stop the clock.
Well, Cincinnati's playing too deep coverage. The corners are trying to force you to complete balls inside, but they never even tried to attack the boundary. It just seemed like a lot of their throws were in the middle of the field, and that's where Cincinnati wants to let you complete throws.
And now the Bengals dropping back very deep, protecting the end zone. But the ball is at the 38 in Tennessee territory. Just 7 seconds remaining. Hasselbeck couldn't find anyone and goes short range. Hawkins picking up a blocker. Oh, looking for a miraculous finish, but that will do it. The Bengals go to 6-2. They make it 5 straight wins. Tied with the Steelers now for first place in the AFC North. Pittsburgh home tonight for Baltimore, while Tennessee continues its ups and downs, back to 500 at 4-4. Huge day for the rookie Andy Dalton. Final score, Bengals 24, Titans 17 tonight on CBS, 60 minutes, followed by The Amazing Race, The Good Wife, and CSI Miami. For Rich Gannon, I'm Marv Albert saying so long from Nashville. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.